So I'm going to take you on a loop that I would normally start from Rykas, but there's quite a few old bit around here today moving everyone on. So I've pulled up here just to set the cameras rolling, etc. The route is about 23 miles and it takes in some of the best scenery you're going to find around the Surrey Hills. So let's get on with it. This is the A24. We're going to go up through Dorking and then we will start getting on the sort of the proper twisties in a little while. So I can't claim to have discovered this route. This route was actually plotted in the My Route app software. Anyone who's been biking for a long time probably remembers that software called Tyre. Well, the My Route app is developed by the same people that used to make Tyre. Fantastic bit of software it is. Yeah, so it gives you the functionality of setting a radius and a direction to set out in, and it will just plot you a route depending on how windy you want it, how hilly you want it. Most of the sat navs do that functionality now. Yeah, so I'm just saying that I didn't discover this route by myself. I literally got the software to do it for me. I have amended a couple of little bits of the route when sometimes on around the Surrey Hills you get some road closures, and very often that will take you down a road that you've never been down before and you think, wow, this is awesome. So there are a couple that I've added to, a couple of amendments that I made to the original route. I've been riding this route probably since about 2016. It's just a fantastic route. I never get bored of it. I've been touring sort of all over Europe, Scotland, Cornwall, and all that's fantastic, but there's just something about the Surrey Hills that I just love. I never get bored of it. Never ever get bored of it. I suppose that's partly because it's about 15 to 20 minutes journey for me to get here, so for a weekend ride out, what more could you ask for? 15 minutes away and here we are. So this is Dorking. I bet all these shops are looking forward to opening up. We've been on lockdown, what, for almost 10 weeks now? I think it's Monday, is it, that some of them can open, and then a few more on the 15th, I believe. Yeah, this high street, even at this time, it's 11:15. This high street would normally be rammed at this point. So not far to go now till we get to a little bit of the wonderful scenery of Surrey Hills. So I'm on a Honda 250 Rally. With some Anarchy Wild knobblies on. And the bark busters. I bought this in January. The only two mods I've done is I've put the bark busters on that you can see there, and a set of Anarchy Wilds on it. The OEM tyres that came with this bike were pretty dire actually. They weren't too bad on the road, but when I bought it in January I did a few of the muddy green lanes and it was just awful. Partly because I'm pretty inexperienced. I've done a bit more now and my confidence levels are going up a little bit. I'd always planned to sort of at Easter go out to Wales and get some off-road training, but obviously the COVID scenario scuppered that for me, so I will do that at some point. So this is what I consider the start of the route, but I always generally start at Rykas and finish in Rykas, because you can start with a coffee and end with a coffee. But Rykas, the biker cafe, has been shut since I think it was the 22nd or the 23rd of March, and it's still not open now. So this is it. Look, we got the Nationals. So a lot of roads you're going to see are pretty much like this. They're unpaved. Most of them are good quality tarmac. There are a few of these unpaved roads that are a little bit sketchy, you know the types of ones. They've got the gravel in the middle of the road, sometimes even some grassy bits in the middle of a quite narrow unpaved path. I'll point those out when we get there, and you boys on your sports bikes can decide whether you want to have a go at this. It's not too bad in the summer, but it's a completely different ball game in the rainy season. And definitely not for sports bikes in the rainy season. But if you're not worried about getting your bike a little bit dirty, there's no reason you can't do it on a sports bike. You've just got to take it a little bit easy. Look at that fantastic scenery, look. Awesome. There's plenty of this we're going to go through, these sort of arch tree covering type unpaved roads. That was nice. People are pretty considerate around here, actually. I mean, I always do my best, and I'll give way to, you know, cyclists, and I'll steer well clear of them. If there's any walkers about, I would definitely slow down, and any horses, I generally just pull over and stop. Gives me a good excuse to have a hit on my vape that's sitting in my pocket. And very often gets pulled out of my pocket at traffic lights when I'm stopped. Do you know what? I think I'm more addicted to nicotine now I'm vaping than I was when I smoked. Maybe one day I'll give it up. He didn't want to give me a little room, did he? Driving a bus. I was expecting it to be a little bit more busy than this, maybe not on this road. We'll probably definitely hit some traffic when we get onto the A25. But if it stays like this is heaven. There are a couple of areas on this route where it does get really narrow, and you'll see for yourself, but I'll point those out as well. Most of those are towards the end of the route, but you do get, your visibility is very limited, and you do get sort of cars on those lanes very often, so you really do have to be a bit careful on some of them. I mean, the visibility on a lot of this is quite good on these unpaved roads. Yeah, I didn't see the cyclists slowing down at all for the people walking, do you? Mind you, it's easy for me, I just twist my wrist. They got to pick up that momentum again with their legs, haven't they? I've got a lot of respect for cyclists, actually, from a fitness point of view. To get where we are now, those boys and girls obviously, have definitely had to ride up some steep hills to get where we are now. And if you was to put me on a bicycle and ask me to go up some of these hills, I'd need a team of people waiting for me at the top to give me CPR, I assure you. So this little bit here, I think starts getting a bit sketchy a bit further up. Maybe it's a bit further on. Yeah, I mean this ain't too bad. It must be a lot further on actually. The reason I always slow down is you see the people first, but there might be a dog, you know, very often people have got dogs, and I don't suppose it's very nice for a dog to be cooped up on its lead all the time, so very often, you know, quite rightly, people want to give their dogs a bit of a free rein. So that's the main reason I always slow down. Obviously I do care about the people, but I definitely don't want to pile into a dog, that's for sure. Just down there you've got Leaf Hill, which has got a famous tower, I believe, Leaf Hill Tower it's called. There's some green lanes go out that way as well. But we're going to stick to the unpaved roads and the roads for this journey, because not everyone rides around on knobblies. So we've got a car park up here, which is why there's lots of people milling around. One thing to watch out, see this bit of road there? On a lot of these turns, because there's a lot of gravel about all over the place, a lot of these turnings, right on the corner of the turn, you do get quite a lot of gravel in places. There's another one in particular when we're on the A25, I'll point that one out as well. So this little hill's quite steep. I don't think cameras generally give a good perception of how steep some of the hills are. It's levelled out sort of now, and we're going to go back up a hill. Here we go, some doggies. You're welcome. Now I am going to turn left up here, and I'm going to guess that these horses are, please don't turn left, Obviously you're entitled to go anywhere you want, but it looks like they're going straight on. I'm doing a left there. This is a great hill, this one. I love this house here. It'd take a big lottery win for me to get something like that. Something like that. Good luck to them. If they've earned the money, good luck to them. Why not? If I was to get a big lottery win, and having said that, I don't sort of regularly do it that much anymore. I used to. I'm not really a gambling man. The only thing I put a bet on is normally the Grand National. And I'm no expert on horses. I just go by name and something that's 66 or 100 to 1, and I just put a tenner on the nose on it. So if it does come in, I'm quids in, providing I never put another penny on the GGs again, because they'll soon claw it all back. Yeah, there are a lot of cyclists out today, so I'm going to be a little bit more cautious. Those ones down those ones back there a little bit, probably not a good idea to take up the whole lane. I mean, I'm just on a bike, but there are cars that use these roads, and if you're coming tearing down a hill like that, like they were, well, they weren't tearing, I suppose, but if you're coming down a hill like that, the brakes on a bike are not that great. On a bicycle, I should say. So this is my vape stop up here. I always stop here and have a little vape, and that lorry's sort of getting in my way because I like to stop right here. And have a little stretch of my legs. Yeah, so this is some science thing. It's the UCL Department of Space and Climate Physics.